Welcome back to the Edge of Innovation podcast from InSource Solutions. I'm your host today, Katie Schauer, and I'm joined by Vice President of Client Success for InSource, Kevin Modlin. Kevin's here to talk with us about a great offering that InSource has. It's called InSource InSider and InSider Plus, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into this conversation. So welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome.
So first, how long have you been with InSource? What is your tenure here? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, 24 years with InSource. And as you said before, Vice President of Client Success, that means I have organizational responsibility for our client success team, for our technical support organization, for the pre-sales team we have, and for our training offerings.
As part of that, I know that you and your team have developed what we're calling InSider and InSider Plus.
Yep.
Can you talk about what they are a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. InSider is really a knowledge and enablement offering. The aim of that offering for us is to help customers upskill their automation workforce and give those employees an expert level backstop in the event that they get stumped. We like to think of it as a workforce multiplier.
Okay. That sounds great. And I love that description, but what exactly does that mean? What do you get with those things?
Good point. So to be more explicit about that, really, InSider in both flavors is a bundle of tools to help your engineers be more productive. When I say your engineers, I mean customer engineers be more productive. So depending on the level at which a customer subscribes, that bundle includes 5 or 6 things. So both flavors include unlimited training with a curriculum coach, what we call a curriculum coach, who's somebody that can help you put together a bespoke training plan that factors in your goals and the tech stack that you use in your role. So that's the first item. The second is what we call Schedule an Expert. That is access to our expert level Aviva resources. You know, the folks who do the service delivery for us, sometimes it would be our pre-sales team. But anyway, it would be an expert level resource with experience in the tool that you need help with. And InSider subscribers get 4 hours of that per quarter, and InSider Plus subscribers get 8 hours of that per quarter. The next part of the bundle is the industry and product forum. And that gives you, I call it asynchronous access to our technical team. So the same kinds of people you would have access to in the Schedule an Expert area, you get access to in the forums in an asynchronous way. But you also get access to peers in that way as well. And so, you know, there are lots of forums available on the web. The beauty of this one is it's a closed community. It's carefully curated, and it's also carefully monitored by our team every day. So our expectation is that you'd get, and maybe you wouldn't get a better answer, but you might get a more sort of officially backed answer from our forum than you would if you just went to one you found on Google. You get what we call members only content. So one part of the forum is an area where we post, fully configured example applications, code snippets that we have found useful. So that might be for application server or for InTouch or for Historian, or it might be a SQL query that we've found useful, and sort of other how-to information. So that's what we call the members only content. All InSider subscribers get complimentary passes to our annual client event, and that event this year is in September. That includes informational sessions, but also hands-on workshops. And finally, InSider Plus customers get 500 Flex credits. So Flex credits are Aviva's subscription currency. So if you get 500 Flex credits that you can use to test software in the Aviva portfolio. So for most products, Flex credits burn down on a monthly basis. So if you haven't used Dream Report before, but you'd like to try it out, you don't have to find a demo license or contact us to get one. You've got 500 Flex credits available. Go download the application, go check out a license. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, put that license back in and you're no longer burning Flex credits. So it's those 5 or 6 things depending on the level that you subscribe at.
as the vice president of client success, and this is something that is dear to my own heart here at InSource. I am part of our client experience committee working towards improving our client experiences. Why is InSource offering this service now? What makes this a prominent offering that we want to make sure our clients are aware of?
Yeah. As you mentioned before, I've been with InSource for 24 years, but I've been in the manufacturing space now for 32 years. And over all those decades, I've heard a lot, and we organizationally have heard a lot about how difficult it is to staff manufacturing positions, especially those that are sort of technical in nature or the engineering kinds of positions. In fact, I was doing some research for something else I've got going on recently, and I stumbled across a statistic from the National Association of Manufacturers Outlook survey. So in the fourth quarter of 2023, 71% of respondents to that survey identified attracting and retaining a quality workforce as a primary business challenge. That's been the highest ranked business challenge in this particular survey for 23 of the last 24 quarters. And it's been in the top four concerns for manufacturers in this survey for 12 years in a row. We think InSider can help with that in a few different ways. First, it can help accelerate onboarding and upskilling of new employees. So if you bring a new automation engineer into the fold and you need to quickly get them up to speed on the Aviva or Wonderware tools that you're using, this offering can help with that. Second, it can help your more experienced staff stay current with an ever-changing software landscape. So, Aviva is adding features, but also adding security benefits to software every year, and the security landscape for sure is changing, especially in the last few years. So anyway, the second part of that, I would say, is helping your experienced staff stay current on the software portfolio. Third, earlier I referred to it as a backstop, and I don't know if can I use air quotes in this forum, Katie? Is that
Sure.
okay? Okay.
We'll let you do it this time.
Yeah.
For
So
those of you listening, Kevin is using air quotes.
I'm using air
If you're
quotes,
wondering.
right? So via the forum and the schedule and expert hours, our customers who are subscribers here, their teams have access to literally hundreds of man years of experience. And they can either live and in person via schedule and expert or asynchronously via the forum, lean into to that expertise and get help with, maybe they're not, they're obviously not going to be plant down situations. They're obviously not technical support type things, but maybe they're, adding to an existing application. They want to make a connection to a SQL database and bring some data back or something like that. This offering gives our customers, automation engineers, access to those kinds of resources. And that might be one part of a customer's strategy for dealing with the loss of tribal information that tends to be happening. So there's a little bit of brain drain happening. Experienced employees are retiring, and some of the tribal knowledge is leaving companies. And this, forum and schedule and expert can be one of the tools that customers use to plug that gap. So I think that's your question was why now. We've been observing this trend in manufacturing for quite some time and have been asking ourselves, what's our role to play in helping to solve this? And InSider and InSider Plus are one of the tools we have to help customers with that challenge.
That's awesome. Yeah, we hear a lot about that tribal knowledge loss, especially with a large generation of people getting ready to retire or facing downsizing at times and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I'll, I would think that this would help people in that, because you have that guy Bob that's worked at the company for years and he knows every in and out. He's got it all up here. He all in his head and he's ready to go. And you've got Joe that comes on. He's new. He's fresh out of school. He's he knows his stuff, but he doesn't know the nuances.
Yeah.
And so this sounds like this is a tool to help with some of that.
Yeah. So
that gap.
Yes. So Bob is the been there, done that guy.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of people in our technical organization who have been there and done that. In fact, one name comes to mind for me. You said, you have very experienced people retiring. We have the same thing going on here. We've got Bruce,
Yep.
who's been our go-to sort of tip of the spear of technical resources for us it feels like since the beginning of time. But the truth of the matter is, as much as Bruce knows, he doesn't know everything. And so Bruce leans on the technical organization we have here at InSource. And InSider really is an opportunity for our customers to have the same level of access to those resources that Bruce does. Maybe it's not the same level of access, but a parallel level of access to the technical team that Bruce does when he bumps into something he hasn't done in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So that I think is a benefit.
I would love that for what I do daily. That would be great.
Yeah,
Can we get a marketing version of that? That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
We'll see what we can do.
So I'm gonna jump around here a little. I know we kind of have an outline, but I want to jump around because I think this is a good we talk about the advantage for onboarding and things of that nature, but really we see communities like Reddit, we see communities like Quora. You can go and ask a question and you'll get answers.
Yep,
Sometimes they're genuine answers, sometimes they're not.
yep.
um, why does our forum, or how is our forum different in that respect? And
Yeah.
can they rely on the information they're getting?
Yeah, so I just described that a little bit before, but thank you for drilling into that question. You know, our forum is not open to the public. We debated that for quite some time, and we said, should we have a public facing forum? And one day we might, but the InSider forum is a closed forum today. You have to have an invite, and we control access to that. As a side note, we do give temporary access to that for students who attend training classes. So if you attend a training class at InSource, you get temporary access to the InSider forum. But as I described before, our entire technical team is subscribed to the forum and gets an email notification when something's posted out there. So the something that's posted might be a new SQL script that Bruce created that would be applicable to an MES database, for instance, but it might be a question from a customer. So, our team is actively monitoring that. And so our team should be ready to respond to those things pretty quickly. Now, probably not within the first 2 minutes, but you're going to get a pretty quick response from somebody at InSource. To be perfectly honest, today we're not getting a lot of peer-to-peer communication in the forum. Our forum's been live for about a year, and we hope we do get some peer-to-peer communication. But to get to your explicit question, we think that as the Aviva certified partner, we think our answers should be much more reliable than what you might get on a public forum. So, not to bash public forums, because you certainly can get great information from
Yeah.
those. And I'm not saying don't broadcast your question to those as well, but I think the curated nature of this forum and the private nature of the forum is going to mean that you get more reliable information more of the time.
Yeah, it's more of a safety net kind of
For
feature
sure.
than a censorship type thing. It's not that we want to stop people from posting or change their posts. We just want to make sure that the person asking the question gets the right answer.
And I should be explicit and say that every member of our technical community, the InSource technical community, is certified probably in multiple Aviva products, but they have to be certified in at least one Aviva product. So we definitely have people certified in the entire tech stack. But I think that allows us to bring to bear a little bit more, I don't know, close connectivity to Aviva from that
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, and I like the idea of building that peer-to-peer forum as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes our industry can be slow to adopt certain things, but I think as the word gets out there and as more people start using it, especially our training community and those guys, once they start really digging into it, I think we will see a jump there.
So
And
that brings two things to mind for me.
yeah,
One is at InSource over the last 27 years, we've done and seen a lot of things, but we haven't done and seen everything. And so the broader we can make the community with, somewhat vetted resources, the broader pool of talent we get access to. And back to the access to students for a minute in the training community, one of the reasons we decided to open this up to students is you go to training and maybe right away you go back to doing something that you just learned in your training class, or maybe you get that set aside for a week while you recover from being away. And so we thought that having access to the forum gives people another outlet to ask questions. So you finished your training, we took you through a formal training process, but when you get back to your day job, you're going to do something that we didn't cover explicitly in the training. And we wanted to give students one more outlet to ask that question, get some more feedback or counsel from somebody else who's got a little more experience in that area.
Yeah, it's a lot different when you're in the training environment and you're doing it the
Yeah,
way it's written in the book to
yeah,
then you get back to your own environment and you're like, okay, they said this, but I either don't remember or this doesn't look like what I saw in the class, which
exactly.
we see because there are, abilities to optimize and personalize certain things. So I
For
think
sure.
I think that's awesome. When we're talking about Insider and Insider Plus, talked about training here and there. What are the key pieces that they get with that training? I know you mentioned some unlimited training and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What is the benefit of that? And is it per person who's subscribed, or is it per client, like per company? How does
Oh,
that
that's
work
a great point.
exactly?
It is per company. So the subscription is a site-based subscription. So you subscribe as you've got a site in Charlotte, North Carolina, near where I am. That entire site is covered. Every employee at that site is covered. You can put up to 4 people in any class that we have on our schedule. So go take a look at the published schedule that's on the website. As an insider subscriber, you get access to put up to 4 people in any of those classes. And I mean in the instance of the class. So if we've got an
Right.
InTouch class next week, you can put 4 people in that. If we've got an InTouch class next month, you put 4 more people in that one. So that's the way that works. And I should have mentioned before that insider subscribers also get access to what we call self-paced training. So
Oh,
um, if you need InTouch training, but you don't feel like you can break away from your day job for 4 days in a row to attend that training, self-paced training allows you to accomplish that training over up to a 3-week span. So what we do is we set up the infrastructure that you need. We give you a manual. We give you access to somebody you can ask questions if you have a question along the way, and then the student marches through that material at their own pace over up to a 3-week period. So that's another benefit that's available to insider subscribers as well. And in
yeah.
fact, the unlimited training part of this is really an anchor part of the value proposition in my mind. So yes, there are other benefits, but one of the primary benefits is unlimited training.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about curriculum coach earlier. That's a concept where we take somebody who's been in our training department and has a lot of experience in our tech support
Mhm.
department. He's a primary curriculum coach for us, and he'll sit down with you, get an understanding of which tools in the tech stack you're using, how you're using them, and help you craft a training plan that will get you to your goals.
I think that we see a lot in any kind of software forward service, where they're selling software, they're selling you a tool, much like we do with our clients, we give them the tools they need. We see that there is such a varied um, level of training and support that comes with that. And a lot of times it depends on your spend, or you have to have the ultimate enterprise license. And it sounds like with Insider, not Insider Plus, but Insider, you're getting a lot of that benefit at not a lot of extra cost for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. Um,
There's a lot included, which is, we don't always see that with those kinds of programs.
Yeah, I was going to point out that I see Insider as a high value offering.
Mm.
So Insider starts at $23,000 annually. As I mentioned before, that's a per site price.
Yeah.
If you want to subscribe for multiple sites, we have some customers doing that, so we can help craft a program that works for your organization and your goals. But I think you know, everybody's got their own sort of sense of what's cheap,
Yeah.
and so this isn't cheap, but I'd say it's a high value offering.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, especially when you're talking about, the training part, and
Yeah,
I know I'm harping on that, but the training part is just such a huge thing. I think that, and we have excellent trainers, and I know I'm kind of tooting our own horn
Yeah.
in that situation, but the feedback that we get consistently about our trainers and about our training process is just stellar. It's absolutely world class.
Yes, and to the point about value, this is an offering we've had on the market for just over a year, so we're starting to get to the place where subscribers need to renew, and so far, every one of our early adopter subscribers has chosen to renew. So it is an annual
They are seeing
subscription.
the
You
value.
could subscribe and then choose not to next year, but so far, every early adopter subscriber is renewing.
That's a that shows that there is value there.
Yeah,
They're seeing that value. That's
agree.
awesome. So beyond, the training, because I know I've harped on that a little bit, but beyond that, in terms of, you talked about having access to the experts.
Yeah.
So you can schedule time. I know with Insider you get 4 hours. With Insider Plus you get 8. What does that kind of engagement look like? What is there a prescribed thing that they talk about, or can you set your own kind of agenda for that
Oh
as
no,
the
the
client?
customer, sort of describes the thing they would like to accomplish with those hours. So, I mean, you said 4 hours and 8 hours, and that's true, but I want to be clear that that's per quarter.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
um, our intention with that is not to do project work on behalf of the customer. So, there aren't many projects you could accomplish in 8 hours a quarter anyway, but we don't want that to be project time. But if the customer, for instance, is back to my example from before, you'd like your automation system to reach out to a SQL database or to a web service. Maybe you want your automation system to reach out to a web service and get the current temperature and humidity for your location. As an
Okay.
example, you you might go try to find some documentation, try to find a YouTube video, and all fine. Maybe you're able to sort it out on your own. But one option would be to schedule time with one of our experts. Schedule a 1 hour block, describe what you're trying to do, and usually we can accommodate these things with about 2 weeks of notice, because our technical team is, we don't have people sitting waiting on those. It's
Right.
not our tech support organization. This is a different level of resource, and they can help you through that. We've got people who've done that web service call. We've got people who've done those database queries. So we could help you accomplish that, get you pointed in the right direction. We might be able to surface additional documentation that you weren't able to find, but we for sure can make our know-how available, and that's a sort of a one thread for what a typical engagement might look like. Another one may be, you may want somebody to look over some code you've created and give you some recommendations on how to improve that. If it could be improved, you might want somebody to take a peek at your architecture and make recommendations about how you could improve the redundancy and high availability of your architecture. So, it most definitely is not a prescribed thing. It's, we want the customer to lead us, and we want them to help us understand what they're trying to accomplish, and then we want to bring resources to bear to help them accomplish that.
Yeah. So it sounds like it kind of bridges the gap between that urgent tech support need and that larger project need, right? So that's what it sounds like to me, that it's that in between where you have that work you need to do, but it's not project side.
Yeah.
It's not something huge and it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks, but it's also not an urgent matter that, oh my gosh, my plant's down or something along those lines. It's more in the middle with adding on and making sure you have, optimization and things of that
That's a
nature.
great way to think of it. And it's already bundled in, so you don't have to worry about finding a credit card or a purchase order
Yeah.
or anything like that. You just send an email to our team and say, hey, sometime soon I'd like to talk to somebody about whatever it is, querying a
Yeah.
web service from my InTouch node.
Awesome. So this has been great. I really appreciate you sitting down with me and talking through this. I know it's given me a better understanding of Insider, but also I think, the more we talk about it and the more we get it out there, the more value people will see out of it. So
Yeah.
and I hope that's how you feel as well. Before we completely wrap up, what kind of things can we expect in the future from Insider? What are some things, if you can share with us, maybe not promises, but
Yeah.
things that you think might be on a roadmap at some point?
Yeah. That's a great question. And I'm not really prepared to give any specifics because, like I said before, this is an offering we've had in the market for 1 year, and
Right.
we're gathering feedback from our existing subscribers and from potential subscribers, and we want to take that market feedback and tune this offering if it needs to be tuned. But right now, we don't have any short term plans to make big changes to it.
Right.
Um, we we think we've settled at a place that works, particularly with Insider and Insider Plus. So you get the option to, either choose to have additional flex credits or flex credits. Maybe you don't have any, or maybe you have some and you need a few more. But the
Right.
Insider Plus allows you to do that. But we don't see any short term changes. But again, we're always listening to the market, and we're if customers have specific feedback about things they'd like to see, we're definitely willing to entertain that.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share about Insider or client success or anything like that before we end? Any
Um,
shameless plugs you want to give? You know.
um, I'll reiterate what you said earlier. We do a lot of surveys around the company for various customer interactions to try to figure out, places where we could be easier to work with, or gauge the pulse of our customers around how they feel about various kinds of engagements with us, and we get really good feedback. Particular training is our highest. We're monitoring something called Net Promoter. Training
Yeah.
is the highest Net Promoter score part of our organization at the moment. We get the opportunity in our either our in-person or our virtual training classes to spend a lot of time with customers, and we get good feedback about that. But we get good feedback about our customer success organization as well. And just in case customers don't know what that is, that's a team of people who are dedicated to helping customers achieve success on their own terms, whatever success means to them. So that's a post-sale thing. Customers have already bought software and
Right.
have implemented or tried to implement it, or wherever they are on that journey. And the client success organization, is their task is to work with those customers who've already bought something to help them get the most value out of it that they can. So, that's not directly an insider thing, but you get access to that team of people as an insider subscriber too. So those are key things I think I would add, but I think that's about it.
Yeah. I will add one more shameless plug that, our client success team has been recognized by Aviva in the last few years several
Yeah,
times
yeah,
for being on the edge of that service. And I know that it's also a cross company team, not for the client success, but for the client experience. We're
yeah.
talking about those feedback surveys and that kind of stuff. There's a group that encompasses all the departments to talk about that. So, reassuring our clients that we are listening and that we are taking action on the feedback we're getting. And when you say feedback, yes, we love the great feedback, but we also need the critical feedback, the constructive criticism as well,
For
right?
sure.
So
Yep,
we need
that's
to
right.
know what needs to be improved, and it may be something we hadn't thought of.
And
Um,
then just by happenstance, you were involved in this yesterday. Yesterday, we got some feedback about our website that said it could be improved if you made this one change, and we made
yep,
that change
I
yesterday
did.
within
Yep,
within an hour of getting that piece of feedback. So
yeah,
one
yeah,
example of us listening to customers.
and that's something we aim to do that company wide. I
Yeah,
think that's I know that's a
yeah,
tenet of what we do here. We ultimately say that client success is our success, and
yeah,
whatever that success looks like,
yeah.
right? And it's the small successes, it's the big successes. We just want to celebrate. We like to party. We like to have a good time, and we can't do that if we're not successful. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me. Um, I think in another year we'll go back and we'll talk about it. We'll see, okay, what's changed, what's coming now.
I'm game.
If you don't mind, is that good?
Absolutely.
So next August we'll meet again.
August 2nd. Put it on the calendar.
Sounds good. It might be a Saturday, but
Thanks, Katie.
thanks, Kevin.
Alrighty.
And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you watching us, listening to us, however you're consuming our podcast. And just remember, stay on the edge of innovation.